Hi, welcome to day 3 of the 365-day podcast run. Today, I'm going to be talking about productivity, focus, time management, and all these great things. It's still the beginning of the year, so these are the kinds of things that people are talking about and want to hear about. I'm going to be talking about some of the practices that I currently use, and some of them are things that I've been doing from like 10 years ago. Some are things that I started doing more recently within the past year. But these are things that I picked up from somewhere or I just started doing, and I may have tweaked it from someone's existing system that I stumbled upon, or it's just something that I did and I found that it worked for me. And I use them now and they basically help me organize my life. So let's get into it. A lot of these practices I started doing when I was in university. Before university, I was already working, but when I got into university, I was in a full-time undergraduate program and I was also working full-time. So that meant that I had to really structure my life and organize things so that like nothing important or essential fell out of the way. And this also included balancing my social life because I was very active. Like I had a very active social life in university, and I managed to graduate top of my class while working full time and having a very active social life. Right. So one thing that I started doing then was to plan for my week on weekends. So I needed to write down everything I had to do that week, think about the work tasks that I had to do. Oh, at some point, I was doing two jobs as well. So I will write down the things that I needed to do for each job. Look at the project management tools we were using. I was using Asana for one, and I can't remember what for the other one, and make a list of things I needed to do that week and what courses, classes I had, assignments, due deadlines, all those kinds of things. Just review all the things I had previously marked as to do for the next week, and then plot it in the following week. And I used to plot everything in my calendar. I've been doing time boxing since before I knew that people had a concept called time boxing. I would dedicate specific time for specific activities. So it really helped that I had a consistent class schedule. So I knew when I had classes. So I put that in my calendar, blocking that time. Then I would dedicate time for meetings and schedule my meetings around my school work. And then I will also schedule time to actually work on things, and then schedule things like if there's a birthday, somebody has a birthday coming up or a hangout or something, or I'm going to sit down with my friends, I will also put that in my calendar. So literally is kind of two things. Plan for the weekend, plan for the week on the weekend, and also put every single thing in my calendar. If it didn't go into my calendar, it wasn't going to get done. And this included birthdays, social activities, every single thing went into my calendar. Now, my planning has kind of evolved over the past 2, 3 years. Now I use it, I still do the calendar thing, and then I also use a to do list. And how I do my to do list is a bit different from what people usually do. Is like you have a long list every day and then you tick things off. How I do my to-do list is when I think about everything I need to achieve in that week, I put everything in one mega to-do list. And then I break down the rest of the days of the week. And this includes Saturday and Sunday. I plan my whole life together, professional, personal, everything together because I'm one person and I like to see everything in one place. Some people like to do two different things, but I just prefer to have everything in one place. So I put all my professional and personal things together in one mega to-do list for the week. And then I look at the way the week looks for me, and then I put things to be done on specific days during the week. So for example, if I have like four work outcomes to deliver or outputs to deliver, and then I have like some personal things I want to do, like three of them, I will look at them and say on Monday I'm going to deal with task A and B. Tuesday I'm going to do this and that. Wednesday I'm going to do this and that, and then I leave it there. I don't do for the whole week from Monday to Sunday, except I know it's something that is like, oh, this is fixed for Sunday. For example, GP appointment or going to the hospital. There's already a fixed appointment, so I put that on the day that it belongs. I usually plan my week to Wednesday to allow for things to shift, changes, and all of those things. And so that has really, really helped me in being very consistent with doing things and not letting things carry over into the weekend. Okay, I talked a bit longer about this than I had intended to, But I will just summarize by saying that it's important to find what works for you when it comes to productivity and time management. And this system has worked for me for the past 2 years and it's still working for me. Something that I want to add on to that is to actually give each thing on my to-do list a time frame for which I will do it. So some things go into multiple days. For example, if I have a task at work that I need to complete, it may take me a number of days to complete it and not just one day. And instead of just like putting it on the to-do list, moving it to the next day, to the next day, to the next day, I break it down so it can be planning. So I'll do project A planning on day one, and then project A execution on day 3 and 4, for example, or maybe even take it into the following week if it requires that. So I hope this explanation makes sense. And then I will talk about the other things in subsequent episodes. I was going to do all the things I already do, and then in this episode, and then talk about all the things I want to try this year in the next episode. But as I was talking, I just realized that all the things I currently do are a lot, and if I talk about everything, it will be more than 10 minutes, which I want to avoid. And so I will just wrap it up here. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you for joining me on today's episode of A Couple of Things. If you enjoyed this episode or found any part of it insightful, don't forget to share with your friends on your social media, and be sure to leave a comment or a review if you can on your podcast listening app. Thank you.